This content is intended to be used and must be used for informational purposes only. It's very important to do your own analysis before making any investment based on your own personal circumstances. The Better Traders is not a broker-dealer. We are not an investment advisor. We have no access to non-public information about publicly traded companies or cryptocurrencies. And this is not a place for the giving or receiving of financial advice, advice concerning investment decisions, or tax or legal advice. The value of investments and the income derived from them can go down as well as up. Investors may not get back the amount they invested, and past performance is not a guide to future performance. Weird. Okay. I think I'm live on YouTube, but it's not refreshing. So I'm going to give this just a quick second to make sure. How weird. Well, let me know in the chat if this is on, because I don't think it is. Can you guys see me? Ah, okay, you can. Well, that's good. Weird. Okay, well, it's just a spinning, terrible loading thing for me on my end, on the back end. Sorry, I'm just looking at the screen right now. This is what I see. It doesn't look good. All right, thanks. That helps. That makes you feel a little bit better. Good. Awesome. Okay, well, thanks again for, let me just fix this now because everything's all goofed up. Good grief. Sorry. Okay, so I'm here. Thanks for joining me today in this live stream. My name is Moon and Papa. I, of course, is on thebettertraders.com, and I'm also a 3 Commas ambassador. And in today's live stream, I'm going to be talking mainly about Bitcoin and the crypto markets, but I do want to look at TradFi. I'm going to cover a little bit of the news, but honestly, I feel like we're so saturated with the FTX debacle that it's just too much. So I want to talk about other things that are not so good that are coming to light in regards to BlockFi filing for bankruptcy, and also Genesis, which, like I said before, I mean, it felt last week, if we look at the chart, it felt last week, or earlier this week rather, like, oh, we've hit a double bottom, everything's fine, everything's going to be moving up. I didn't see that happening. I mean, I've been telling people in the club, like, don't buy. This is not a dip buy opportunity right now. Things could get a lot worse, in my opinion. So I am not optimistic. I'm just watching and waiting to see what happens. Yeah, I think that things are going to get worse before they get better, personally. But it's all good, though, because this is part of it. So I want to talk about something that I haven't shared here on YouTube before, and I want to share it here in the live stream. So I'm going to come down here to my special stuff. Here we go. And I need to get on this chart. No, this one. Wow, my computer is just choking up right now. That's too bad. There we go, for Bitstamp. I don't know why it's doing this. All right. Things are weird with my computer right now. I have no idea what's going on. That's okay. I'm going to just make this as simple as I possibly can without getting terribly, terribly distracted. Let me try one more thing just to see if it'll populate the list. It is the right thing. How weird. Windows. Thanks a lot, friends. So I want to talk about this. A big question that people are asking is, all right, what does this mean now? What does this mean now that things are not looking good? Things are looking quite bearish for BTC. What does that mean moving forward? I get it. So what's really, really, really simple to do is we're going to take a simple exercise. We're going to look and measure from our market top to our next market top. And we're going to do the same thing. I'm just going to click on this right here. And then got this up here. So I'm looking at this, focusing on the bars. So we got 210 bars, 204 bars. So I'm drawing this to help some people out to figure out where are we and what could be happening next. So essentially we have two different projections of when we're going to see the next market top. I'm drawing this out as well to help you see. Let me get this one. Nope, this one. There we go. Put it below. There we go. I'm drawing this out so that way you can see what the average length of a bull cycle has been up until this point and where we are. So as far as this being like other markets, we're in a similar situation. Unfortunately, I had previously thought that we had already bottomed out, but apparently because of FTX and bankruptcy and all that fun stuff, it's not looking good. So I think it means that we're going to probably head lower. But before I look at those lower targets, I would just want to give you a glimmer of hope first before I give you the truth about where I think we're going. So historically speaking, 210 weeks, 204 weeks, 210, 204 weeks, that would mean that our bear market, I'm sorry, the top of the next bull market should be there we go, saying the wrong key. Looking at December 2025. So it was December back here. It was January, November back here. So we're looking at that same time frame for the top of the next market cycle. So that's the first thing I want to point out. The second thing that I want to point out, and I'm going to put these into a folder and just turn this off real quick, is where could we go? So a lot of people are wondering, okay, how high is the next market going to go? So we're going to use the same concept that I talk about all the time, which is my resistance fan concept, except this time I am drawing it from the top to the top. So we're going to go over here, move this out of the way. And we're just going to make this as best we can. Let's zoom in. There we go. Oh, that wasn't so good. Let me switch to this. Just be patient with me for just a minute. We'll take that one. So even though that wasn't the market top, as far as a trend line goes, that's the best place to put it. So I'm showing you this to give you an idea of where we could end up, you know, and it's going to be a while. It looks like 3 years. So it's going to be a long time. It could be pretty brutal, but that doesn't mean that it's going to do nothing. A lot of these bear markets, they kind of go up and down. They have these waves, but during this middle part of the market is when you can make a ton of Satoshis. You can stack your sats by trading against BTC. And I'm going to show you a real example of a deal that I closed. That's a great example of how to use DCA wisely, how to efficiently use DCA. So looking at this, looking at where we are in the market cycle, we're still just getting started, unfortunately. So we're only 54 bars in. So we're 1/4 of the way in. Looking back over here, 54 bars in from the top. It's about here. So if I zoom in, that would be this majestic pump that we saw after we had already crashed. I don't know if it's going to be that kind of situation. It feels like we're going to drop lower, but let's just focus on the future for a second. I'm getting distracted as well. So what I want to show you is this. You're going to start to see people later. I'm talking in the future, 2 years from now. You can bookmark this, you can save it, make a calendar reminder to review this live stream. I'm telling you the truth. When we get to about here, in 2024, when the next halving is going to be, you're going to see people saying Bitcoin's going to be hitting $1 million because it has to, because previous cycles have, you know, it's always surpassed previous cycles. We got a 10,000%, 11,000%, excuse me. This one, we got 18,000%. So if we're down here at 10K, going from the bottom to the top, 19,000% or whatever, that means $210,000. That's amazing. That's going to be an incredible bull rally. But the reality is that there's a lot happening on the macro level that people aren't really paying attention to in the world of finance, unfortunately, which is falling apart before our very eyes. If we see a major worldwide depression next year, which is possible and very probable, to me, it seems way more likely to see BTC top out at 90K. Like that would be the top that I think it could really hit. If we see 13K and that's the low, up to 90K. That's a nice 600% increase. I don't really expect Bitcoin to go crazy super high, $1 million for the next cycle. Just be really cautious and careful. On that same note, I don't think Bitcoin's going down to $3,000. I don't see how that's possible personally. Anything's possible, but that I have a really hard time with that one. So let's talk about some bottom of the barrel. Where could it really fall down to? So if we're just going to draw a real simple trend line, focusing not on the future, I'm going to put this in a group, and I'm going to turn that off. So where could Bitcoin fall to? Well, it has the potential to fall as low as 6K, but honestly, that would be a massive, massive drop. That would be a 90% drop from top to the bottom. I have a hard time seeing that. I think it's more realistic to see what we've, or rather work off of what we have done previously, which honestly, the fib lines from 2018 worked perfectly. Got stopped out, or not stopped out, but rather we got paused and tested again at the 618. That's it. So now we're just heading lower. To be honest, the most logical place to end will probably be here at about 10K. 10K is a nice round number. But before we do that, we're most likely going to be hitting 13.5 first, because we have this line of support right there. I'm just going to place this right here. Again, I don't know what happened. I had all these drawings set up and now they're just gone. I don't get what's going on here, but it's okay. But this 13.8, let me get rid of this one. This is the first target, or rather the second target, because the first target, we already hit it. My first target was 16,800. Now we're looking at 13,880. That's the next target. Then the next target after that is 10K. It's probably going to be around this range. So I know it's not the news that you want to see. It's not the news that you want to hear, but that's realistic. I'm going to go to my watch list to point one more thing out, and you're going to like this even less. We're going to go to our futures charts. Nature hates a vacuum. And what I mean by that is that whenever we see a gap over here on the CME futures chart, typically these gaps have been, not typically, historically speaking, they've all been closed. Every single one of them has been closed. All these green lines are showing when we've had gaps and when they're closed. We're on the weekly, so we're not going to see it as well. Let me go to the daily time frame and you'll be able to see it much more clearly. So we can see we have these gaps, the price comes down, it gets filled, filled. We have one outstanding gap though here. And that's the truth, unfortunately. So our gap to fill is at 96.70. Now let's go back to the chart for BTC. Let me turn on my drawings again. I'm going to turn on my fib retracement. Oh, there they are. All the drawings are here. What happened? Oh, that is so weird. Something's up with this computer. It's okay, whatever. So I said, where was that fib? Where was that CME gap? That CME gap is at 96.70 is what I said. So going back here, looking at this, where is this fib line? 97.36. We unfortunately have a lot of reasons why Bitcoin could fall another $6,000 if the financial system were to implode, unfortunately. And we're going to see some crazy depression. Yeah, Bitcoin is the first thing to drop. It doesn't mean it's a bad thing, because we can still trade it. And this leads me into the next thing I want to talk about. I'm not even talking about traditional markets. I was wanting to, but I really just want to focus on this. We saw BTC drop from 22K all the way down here to 15.9, right? That was a 27% move, and there was a nice bounce. A lot of people got really excited on this first bounce. This bounce right here, this thing, and let me just make it plain as day. These bounces are super duper normal. This is actually called a dead cat bounce. Why a dead cat bounce? It's a great question. I love the name because I don't like cats. Sorry, I'm a dog person. Woof. But a dead cat bounce is essentially prices falling really, really, really far. And then as soon as there's some sort of rebound, there's a nice reversal to the upside. We all caught, well, not all, I shouldn't say we all. Many people caught this. I did. I was looking at where to layer. And again, I was already looking at buying at around this price. This is my first target, right? So that means that we had a nice little bounce. But if Bitcoin did that, then that means that other tokens, as we very well know, like Ethereum, let me go to this. So Ethereum made a 22% move. BNB made an even bigger move, 17%, XRP, yada, yada. We saw a lot of these coins make these really, really, really nice recoveries, only to fall further. A dead cat bounce happens after a volatile move to the downside. There's a quick recovery because shorts are getting squeezed because they're shorting too late, and people are buying because they think it's such a great deal. The thing that people don't understand is physics. If I were to, and I don't have this prepared, but I bet you I could see, let me just do this for a second. I just want to show a bouncy ball in slow motion. Let's see. Bouncy ball. Perfect. Okay. I hope that this isn't distracting and weird, but I just want to show you this. And hopefully this continues to drop. I want to show you this. What we expect is not natural. What we expect is the market to fall and to go right back up to where it was. We don't live on the moon. We live on Earth. That means that not only is gravity a law that we can't break here, but gravity, that law of gravity, also pertains to markets. When the market drops, yes, it will initially bounce. See how it absorbs the price action? And it does bounce up higher, but the truth is that on the next bounce down, guess what? It's eventually going to go boing, 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 boing. You've all played with bouncy balls at one point in your life. The point I'm making is that the first bounce is always going to be the biggest from wherever you drop it. Go ahead, get a bouncy ball, drop it, and try to have it come back up to your hand. It won't work. That's not how physics work. There's a lot of energy coming down, and it's not going to expel the same amount of energy when it bounces up. The same thing applies to markets. This is the top. It dropped. Did it go right back up to the top? No. It retraced about, sorry, that was a weird little glitch. It retraced a little below 50%. So we're looking at this move of 30%. It did actually retrace 50% before falling down lower. So now we're looking at these subsequent bounces. Look at this. So let me hide my drawings just to make it super clear. Hide the TBO, just to make it super clear. I want you to see this. When we see a falling market like this, it makes a big bounce. There's a recovery, but guess what? There's another bounce, and it might be back down at the floor. But you know what's going to happen? The next bounce, the second one's not going to be anywhere near as big as the second, unless there's big news. This is a different type of chart formation. XRP is the only token that I could find out of this list that's really performing well compared to everything else. And that's because there are rumors, emphasis on the word rumors, about the court case being done soon. But if we look at Bitcoin, yes, there's a big bounce and it fell down. It tested support just like a bouncy ball would. It bounced up and it fell down. And now it's trying to figure out what it's going to do. But it doesn't take a genius to see what's happening. Again, I'm not trying to be a doomsayer. Let's just simplify these patterns. I mean, does it make sense for this to go up? Think about physics. Think about the bouncy ball pattern. Does it make sense for it to bounce up here? Probably not. What would make more sense in my mind is for the price of BTC to test down here. So let me go back. Actually, no, I did delete that trend line. So we're going to make this really, really simple. Okay. Have this nice yellow trend line here. Happy lines, happy lines. So we got a bounce. Most likely we're going to see a bounce at 16K, and people will think, oh, this is great because now we have so much support right here. This area is so strong with support. Look at how many times it's hit it. No, that's not good. If this were a good recovery, it would bounce and then recover right back up. I've seen lots of people erroneously, incorrectly label this bounce that we're seeing and try to draw a parallel to what happened back in March 2020. So if you're trading crypto, if you're trading in general, March 2020 is when the COVID crash happened. So this COVID crash, just a second, let me turn off the fib lines. There it is. Okay, so when this happened, I want you to take note of this. This is a true black swan event. while the market was falling down a bit, we did have support. So yes, that's okay. But the problem is that when it cracked below support and it kept dropping, this is where panic set in. So this one move right here fell 60%, top to the drop. It was a massive mega move. It was awful. 64% rather. Here's the thing though, in a single day, BTC dropped 38%. It did continue to fall. Really, it actually fell 50%. And then where did it bounce to? I want you to see this. This is awesome. Where did it bounce to? It bounced to the 50% line. So once you see that a chart is bottomed out, it's likely to do a dead cat bounce up to the 50% line. Here's the big distinction between March 2020 and what we just experienced last week. The difference is that at this time, the Fed was still printing money. At this time, Bitcoin was following the stock market. The stock market also took a big hit during this COVID crash. If you go back to March 2020, it took a massive tumble, fell down 34%. It was bad, but look at the rate that it continued moving up higher. Because it didn't do a double test right there, this moving up and testing right there, that was enough. That was the spring it needed to go up higher. That was it. It was very oversold, dramatically so. And then what happened? Boom, it just took off. It's not the same as what we're seeing today. For one, this is a drawn out fall. It was 17% first, and then it fell 24% total. It wasn't a big enough one-day candle drop to constitute something like a real, like basically like this to happen. We're not seeing the price being absorbed, and we're not seeing the price shoot way back up and just continue on its way like we did in 2020. We're not seeing that at all. So you have to understand that there are some principles of physics that we can apply to trading, and we have to pay attention to this stuff. So my lower end targets for BTC, they're not rosy. They're not really happy. Now that my chart is working like it should, I have no idea why it wasn't. To be honest, it's really weird. But let me come down over here. So I got, oh, that's that group thing. Okay. Here we go, bearish targets. So my bearish targets are as follows. And this is 1 week. That's why things look weird to me. So they're based off of a couple of things. They're based off of fib lines. They're based off of price clusters. They're based off the TBO. This red dot right here is a strong area of support, just like this one is. And it's right at 11K. So I still think that 10K is likely. What will most likely happen, in my opinion, is that it'll be a drop down to 13K. And as soon as it gets there and it breaks a little bit, it's going to be a quick pierce down. And then that's it. That's what I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that it's like when you're a kid and you go to the doctor's office and he's like, okay, you ready for your shot? I'm going to give it to you on the count of 3. 1, 2, and then the doctor gives the shot. I'm so sorry if I just ruined that for somebody and they don't know that that's what doctors do, but that's a nice little trick. But your anticipation for it is that it's going to be so bad. And then finally you receive the shot and then it's done. It's like, oh, that's it. So we just need that final painful capitulation, and we're not seeing it yet. This is not a chart that's capitulated yet at all, unfortunately. This was looking to me like capitulation. This was looking really good. Fortunately, it did not hold up. Okay, let me see the time. Okay, I want to look at a couple of other things on the TradFi side. One, when we look at dominance on multiple levels, multiple time frames, let me do this. So I have the 30-minute, which is going to be really noisy, then the 4-hour, and then the daily, and then the weekly. So one thing to pay attention to is that Bitcoin dominance is really oversold. That means that if it actually does rally up higher, you want to be careful trading against BTC, because when Bitcoin dominance is moving up, that's probably going to be because USDT dominance is moving up as well. And when that happens, stay away from alts. But for now, we can trade Bitcoin because in the last week or so, Bitcoin dominance has been falling, and I think it'll continue to fall, to be honest. There's a lot of fear in the markets right now. And if we see 16K be tested again and break, you better believe that USDT and USDC dominance is going to grow. It's going to be way higher. Traditional markets are doing okay. They're doing exactly what I thought, to be honest. My prediction was for the Dow to break above this trend line. It did. And to basically top out, I need to find that video to prove it. But I said it's probably going to stop out here at the TBO resistance. Isn't that amazing? Don't you love this? I love this stuff. I think it's fascinating. So now it's basically waiting to do a bounce, a test and a bounce. If the market is really excited about the CPI numbers and the Fed loosening instead of tightening, there should be a positive rally. We're not seeing it yet, but there are lots of signs rather that I am seeing, like the VIX is still down. The VIX shouldn't be down if we're going to see some volatility. It should be recovering. But for now, it seems like it's heading down to 21 or so, which is great. The Dixie, I've been talking about this for a long time for lots of good reasons, because you've got to pay attention to the Dixie. It is finally at the levels that I've been waiting for. For how long? Well, actually for a while. So on Twitter, I posted on Halloween this chart showing that I was really excited. And this is actually getting ahead of myself because I really initially posted it back on the club on the week of, or 4 days prior to this. So this chart right here, oops, sorry, let me go back. So right here, it was falling, which was great. And then we did a little bit of a test and a close. And I said a close below 110 is bullish. That's what I said. And I really wanted it to test and break below this line. Well, guess what? Christmas came early because the Dixie has fallen, which is great. Here's that 110 line. Let me get rid of the long-term channel. Let me show those arrows just to bring this back to memory. And we have certainly crossed below the price point that I was hoping for, which is that 108 line. Again, here it is. And the chart is saying, I really want it to break below here. If it does, that's bullish, super duper bullish. Bazoom. A falling Dixie means a weakening dollar, which means that other currencies will start to go strong again. So looking at the euro, I don't know if you paid attention to this, but the euro was below parity. It was as low as 95, but with the dollar weakening, now the euro is up about 8%, which is great. So the euro is strengthening while the dollar is weakening. Good. The yen is, and this is the inverse. If we want it to be just like the euro, we would have to look at it like this. So now the yen is starting to gain strength again, which is good. So that way, when you are using yen and you want to convert it to dollars, you're going to be able to get more dollars per yen instead of it being almost 150, which is a really bad rate. So there are lots of things that are happening on the TradFi side that are good. But on the crypto side, unfortunately, we know that it's not all good. I want to take a second now to just talk about a couple of things. I want to talk about this idea of how to exit out of your red backs. I've been making lots of videos about this, and I have a fantastic video coming on Friday. I'm really excited about, and it's something that I share in the courses and I don't talk about on YouTube ever. So this is like a first, and it's a really long video, really in depth. It's going to help everyone that watches it. You just have to commit some time and some effort and energy into it, but you're going to love it. So I want to talk about something that I've been mentioning a lot in the club. And when I say the Better Traders Club, I mean this thing. So the Better Traders Club is a subscription-based club. Join it. It's a fantastic group of traders. I've been sharing watch lists. I've been sharing updates on the markets. I've been sharing trade setups, things like that, DCA bot templates. There's a ton of tools. There's a lot of great stuff in it, lots of indicators that are awesome. So I want to show you something that I posted over here in the trade setups channel. I wrote quick scalp for Vite on November 14th. So looking at the chart, it's a little bit hard to see. So let's go ahead and open up the chart for Vite BTC over here. And let's focus on November. Yeah, you can see what happened. Let me go back over here. So November 14th. So I posted it at around, is it going to tell me? It's not going to tell me. It's okay. But looking at the chart, this is where, right about where, let me go like this. Yep, I posted it right around here saying quick scalp. I saw something that most people didn't see. You could see that I got the most minimal reaction. I just got one handshake. It's okay. because I understand people have their bags. I was actually holding a bag of Vite too, and I wasn't sharing it just to say buy Vite to help release my bags. Like, I don't think that's even possible. Like, I had big bags of Vite. So what I was expecting is what happened perfectly. And I want to show you how this all played out. So going to my browser, I want to show you 3 commas. Yes, my real summary balance, I show this all the time. It's dropped a lot, mainly because I've moved the majority of my funds off the exchange. So I'm only using the funds that I'm risking to trade right now. So this is the amount that I'm going to be using and growing, and I want to share this because I want to show you guys how my account is growing over time. So Vite, and you can see I've had some other deals close in the green as well. This is the norm. This is what I do. So Vite here, I want to show you this trade. So I did close in profit. I decided to close it with a panic sell right here, just because I didn't want to wait. I wasn't sure because it looked to me like it was weakening on the chart. If I go back to trading view and go to the 30-minute time frame, I was seeing this happen and I didn't like this. I just wanted to get out. It's like, nope, I'm done and I'm going to go to bed soon. It's about 10 o'clock my time. So I was happy. Even though it did reach my final target, I don't care, because the payday that I experienced over here was fantastic. 0.014 BTC is a $200 trade or so, which was great, considering the fact that I've been waiting on this since November 4th. So let's go back to the chart. So that means that, yes, my bot started on the pump. So I want to show you this deal because I want to give you some hope. Some people out there still think that DCA bot trading is too hard, or like, what do you do with these charts that get pumped? So my chart did get pumped, like the one I was using for bot trading. You can see here clearly, this is my first base order here at 192. Thank God it didn't buy up at 376. That was rough. But it did buy on the pump. So what happened was, as the price fell, that meant that my average buy price was really up high. So the thing that I did was I had to buy more. So I had already averaged into it as the price was falling, and I put in more at this price. And I want to show you here on TradingView. I want to show you why I did, because when I look at the chart, let me get rid of the TBO. So I drew this trend line out because I wanted to look for an area in which to layer a safety trade. So I was just drawing this nice little trend line. This happened to work well. I was thinking, okay, I'm going to layer in just a little bit above, like at about 131. So it dropped below. Did I worry? To be honest, a little bit. But I knew that if I stuck to my plan and I didn't panic and it just waited and sat on my hands, follow the trade, right? Or not follow the trade, plan the trade and trade the plan. Look what happened. It actually recovered, and I recovered in a much bigger profit than usual. So overall, this bot, and I've been running this bot before I shared it on the club, but this one has generated me 0.023 BTC. But look, when I'm patient and I trade, oh, I'm sorry, I was showing the wrong screen. So here you can see this bot's been very profitable for me. It's generated 0.023 BTC. It's been a great little bot. But look, this one deal that I was patient on and waited, and I used split targets and all the stuff I talk about in the courses, now it's given me more than half of the profits that I've realized up until this point, which is amazing. Almost 2/3, which is great. So I'm saying this stuff not to brag. I'm not saying this stuff to make you feel bad about your bags, but you have to plan ahead. When you see that the markets are falling and you have a bot deal or you have a safety trade, and I've had lots of safety trades that have exited out in the green as well after the dump that happened last week. When that happens, make a plan. Figure out where you're going to layer your safety trades. Even without this trend line, let me go ahead and hide this now. Even without the TBO, you can clearly see that there's a line of support right in here, and the price comes right down to it. I could have put my safety trade instead of 129, I could have done 123 and got out even sooner, or with way more profit. You've got to trust the trading plan. This stuff works. I love it. That's why I get so excited about talking about it. Okay, let me check the comments here, and it's great to see everybody. Thanks for hanging out with me today. I see a comment from Brian saying, I heard back in June it was going to go to 12K. I'm hoping it turns around before that. Well, what if it doesn't? I'm not trying to be a jerk, but what if it doesn't? What if Bitcoin goes lower than 12K? What are you going to do? What actions are you going to take now to set yourself up for success moving forward? So a couple of options would be, like, you could run a short bot if you're worried about it. I just posted a video, and now I have to bring up my YouTube channel in the browser, but I just posted a video about this where I lay out I'm sorry, I'm trying to click around and find this stuff. Here we go, this one. So this video right here. So in this video, I give you a template for a BTC USDT short bot for 3 commas. You can run it, and that way you hedge your BTC. You can hold the same amount of BTC, you sell it, and you rebuy it the same amount at a lower price. You sell it again, rebuy the same amount at a lower price. There's a lot of good information in this video. You got to watch it, okay? So all this to say that, what if it goes below 12K? I mean, it could continue to drop. We don't know. So the best thing to do is just to plan for that to happen and then be happily surprised when it doesn't, right? So again, my targets for now are 13,880. And then it's going to be 10K. And then we'll see. Hopefully it doesn't go below 10K. That's what I'm planning on. So where will I be buying Bitcoin? I will be personally buying Bitcoin around that 13,880 price. And I'll be buying a lot more at 10K. And I'm just going to be sitting on that. So that's my plan. Jason made a comment, USDT dominance going to 15 or 18%. You're probably right. Let's take a look at that chart. So yeah, that would be a mega move. But he's right, because if the fear is just crazy and Bitcoin continues to drop, I mean, look at how much it grew last week. With last week, it made a move of 33% increase. It's only, 7% to 9%. It's not that much. But if the markets were to really fall that far, yeah, it could cause some serious damage. I'm just curious. I just want to see where we might see its top out at. Isn't that so funny? You could chart dominance charts like this. I love it. I think it's really interesting. So yeah, I mean, seeing it top out at 16, you're saying 15 to 18%. I mean, the highest I see it going is 20, but that's massive and that's terrifying. That's really bad. But this is a very bullish chart. It's the same thing as when I was looking at the chart for the Dixie with the club members for months and saying, you know what, when a chart is really bullish like this and we have all the lines of the TBO pointing up, you don't really want to buck that trend. Even though this looks like a double top, don't buck the trend. I mean, let me just show you. When you look at this chart without all of the stuff on it, this is a brutal chart. Yes, I understand it looks nice now that it's fallen back. If I go to the daily time frame, turn on the TBO, this is a massive rally. You don't touch or trade against anything that's moving up like this or down, because this is a strong trend that will only, when it breaks all those trend, not trend lines, the moving averages that I have right here, falling below the cloud, chef's kiss. That's amazing. So yes, be careful, because if USDT dominance continues to rise, don't fight that trend. Did I manage to dig myself out of my power BTC bot deal? I actually I turned it on, and then when things were starting to go crazy, I decided to turn it off. And I just decided to run the Vite bot or a Loom bot instead. So no, I'm not running this. But to be honest, let's just take a moment to talk about what I did and what has happened in the past. So let's see if we can find something familiar that looks like this. So we're seeing the price do a little bit of a dance. It pumps up and it goes down, and it's found its line of support right here. Really important. So for one, yes, what's most likely to happen is after some time, how long? After some time, half a year. So maybe in half a year, which we're getting close to. So in January, we could see power pump back up another 90%. I mean, the reason why I picked this chart to run a bot on it is because it's just so busy. It's pumping all the time, big pops, big drops, all that stuff. So right now we're in this crazy spot where it doesn't look so great, but I'm not really worried about this chart yet. I would be more concerned about it after it pierces this line of support. If that were to happen, then I'd be a little bit more pessimistic about the chart. But for now, this is just classic power, seeing it range, fall down, and then it'll do a pump as soon as there's some sort of relief. The chart for power USD on Coinbase is probably very similar. Yeah, it's just falling because it's an altcoin. But it does have a history of pumping like this, which is why I like it. And it's on lots of other exchanges as well. So yes, it doesn't look great right now, but with careful DCA and planning, you could still rescue this deal just like I've done for probably 100 by now. Okay, that is a much longer live stream than I'm used to having, but I gotta stop it. I have to edit my video for Friday. I have other videos I gotta shoot, and I gotta prepare for next week's Better Traders Club live stream. So again, shameless plug for the Better Traders Club. I would love to see you all there in the club for next week's live stream on my Tuesday, North American Monday night. We're going to be talking about the markets, of course, but I'm going to be sharing an extensive watch list, DCA bot settings, all that fun stuff. I'm excited, but I got work to do. So that means that it's time to stop the live stream. So until the next time, you know what to do. Stay awesome and stay in the green. Peace.